And in that we have seen pneumatic. Then we were discussing about the electrical transducer. In that we have seen resistive and inductive transducer. And in the inductive transducer, we have been discussing about the LVDT and RVDT in the last lecture. And now I am going to start with synchros. I think the basic part of the synchros we have already seen. This was probably the last slide which I was showing in the last class. What this particular figure indicates, it shows the construction of synchro. This is the side from where excitation is provided. Slip ring is generally used for transmitting this electrical signal or electrical power to the rotor. This is a rotor which has a single phase winding. The surrounded by it you have a stator. Stator has a 3-phase winding, and all the 3 phases are displaced by each other with a 120 degree. So this is 0 degree, this is 120, and this is 240. So all the 3 windings are displaced from each other by say 120 degree. The basic principle of the synchro is it works on the based on variable reluctance. Reluctance is quite similar to the resistance which is there in case of the electrical circuit. Reluctance plays a similar role in case of magnetic circuit. So here, as the position of the rotor changes, the reluctance which exists between the primary side, this is the primary or the rotor side, and this is the stator side. So as and when the rotor position changes, the reluctance which exists between the excitation side and the output side changes, which ultimately changes the amount of linkage between the two sides, which ultimately affects the output EMF which you are getting between the two stator windings. So this is what we have already seen. It is an electromechanical device. Again, it is quite similar to LVDT, where the change or the mechanical motion is converted into some electrical voltage. It works on the principle of variation of reluctance. Synchros are generally used for angular measurement. This is very, very important. Synchros are generally suitable in case of rotational motion only, or we can say in the angular motion only. It consists of wound rotor and wound stator. Motion of rotor produces a variable mutual inductance between the two windings. So as I earlier explained, here rotor is laminated, which generally reduces the eddy current loss. Rotor is a single phase winding. It is connected to the excitation or the supply. Stator winding is a 3-phase winding, which is displaced from each other by the 120 degree in space. Now, if we look at the application, then synchros generally used to compare the angular position of load with its commanded position and to generate an appropriate feedback such that deviation is corrected automatically. So it's like synchros are generally used to ensure that if you command something, then whether the output device has followed that command or not. It's like ensuring your task. Suppose if I tell you, or if I ask that finish this task within this particular time frame. This is what I instruct. Then after that time frame, whether you have completed your task or not, that I have to assess. Unless I assess, I cannot ensure whether you have performed the same task which was assigned by me. બરાબર, it is like a closed loop. હું તમને એમ કહું કે ભાઈ આવતીકાલે સવારે આજે આપણે ટેસ્ટ લીધી, ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ મોર્નિંગમાં, બરાબર, મોર્નિંગમાં ટેસ્ટ લીધી, સો મેં ઇન્સ્ટ્રક્શન આપી હતી ટેસ્ટ લેવાની છે, ટેસ્ટ લઈ લીધી, ધેટ્સ ઇટ. સેકન્ડ ટાસ્ક શું છે, એને રિવ્યુ કરવાની, અસેસ કરવાની. તમે જ્યારે ટેસ્ટ આપતા હતા, પેરેલલમાં હું અટેમ્પ્ટ તમારા જોતો હતો, કેટલા લોકોએ અટેમ્પ્ટ કર્યા, કેટલા ક્વેશ્ચન અટેમ્પ્ટ કર્યા, હાઉ મેની અટેમ્પ્ટ્સ વી હેવ ગોટ, કેટલાને ગ્રેડ આવ્યા, શું ગ્રેડ આવ્યા. તો કન્ટિન્યુઅસલી આઈ એમ going through it. So continuously I am verifying whether all of you have attempted the questions which was assigned by me or not. So I am ensuring. So this is a kind of closed loop. So generally synchros are used in a closed loop configuration where it ensures that if from the from one side you are giving some signal and that signal is given to the load side, then synchros are used in such a way that it ensure whether load has performed that particular action or not. Clear? So now see the statement again. Synchros are used to compare the angular position of a load. So suppose if I am saying that load should move by 30 degree, that is the command which I am giving from one side. Then synchros are used to verify that my load has actually moved by 30 degree or not. Clear? So it is a commanded position to generate an appropriate feedback such that deviation is corrected. Suppose if it is not moved by 30 degree and if the angle is 31, then what synchros will do? Synchros will generate an action and a feedback action in such a way that that 1 degree, instead of 30, if it is moved by 31, that 1 degree change has to be corrected. So correction is provided by the synchros. So this kind of mechanism, આ શબ્દ મેઝરમેન્ટમાં અથવા ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ એપ્લિકેશનમાં મેક્સિમમ આવશે. That is called servo mechanism. This kind of mechanism is called servo mechanism. એની અંદર શું ટાસ્ક થાય છે? ઓટોમેટિક motion control feedback system. Clear? There are see 5 different words. Automatic. The change in the load is initiated from the source side automatically so that it will achieve the desired position. આપણે 30 ડિગ્રી મૂવ કરવાની છે ને 31 થઈ ગયું હોય તો સોર્સમાંથી જ એ 1 ડિગ્રી ડેવિએશન માટેનું સિગ્નલ જનરેટ થશે જેથી કરીને ફરી પાછું એ 30 ડિગ્રીએ આવી જાય. So it is called automatic motion control. Now you are controlling the motion of your load. Feedback system. You are giving a feedback to your load in such a way that the deviation or the error has to be minimized. Clear? So this particular thing you have to remember it. This particular thing is now called automatic motion control feedback system or generally known as servo mechanism. આવો વર્ડ જ્યારે પણ આવે સર્વો સિસ્ટમ સર્વો મિકેનિઝમ એનો મતલબ આવો થાય. So now if you want to achieve this task, it means you have to use 2 synchros, and this is how the construction of this servo mechanism looks like. This is called synchro servo mechanism. This is called servo feedback mechanism with the help of synchro. Now this is primary side or the transmitter side, and this is called receiver side. Now the distance between the primary and secondary, અહીંયા આપણે બતાવ્યું છે આટલું જ, but that distance may be in terms of say tens of meter or hundreds of meter. Distance ગમે તેટલું હોઈ શકે. બરાબર? Transmitter may be say located in the central station while the receiver is located in the plant itself. એવું બની શકે. Receiver તમારું પ્લાન્ટમાં હોય અને ટ્રાન્સમીટર છે તમારું એ તમારું જે સેન્ટ્રલ કન્સોલ હોય અથવા સેન્ટ્રલ સ્ટેશન હોય પ્લાન્ટની અંદર એની અંદર રાખેલું છે. Okay. So that distance may be in terms of tens of meter or hundreds of meter. Okay, now how this particular thing works? The same voltage. Now first see the construction, how they are connected. This line voltage is given to the transmitter rotor as well as the same supply goes to the receiver rotor. બરાબર? જે સપ્લાય છે લાઇન વોલ્ટેજ છે એ બંનેને સરખા આપેલા છે. Now the stator winding of the transmitter and receiver are connected directly. આનો ફેઝ આ જે ફેઝ છે એ ફેઝ અહીંયા કનેક્ટ કર્યો, આ ફેઝ છે અહીંયા કનેક્ટ કર્યો અને આ ફેઝ છે અહીંયા કનેક્ટ કર્યો. Clear? The stator phase of transmitter and receivers are directly connected. Okay, now with this much introduction about this particular figure, now let's see how it works. What this particular mechanism looks like. First we have to understand how this particular motion, the motion of the rotor, generates a voltage on the stator side. So first see the angle theta. suppose if this is your reference position, આ તમારી reference position હોય. Now here the theta is equal to 0 because rotor is in line with this reference position, so theta is 0. So if theta is 0, then the equation says that on the output side, this particular phase here, your voltage is V in cos theta. V in means your line voltage. So sometimes that voltage might be say A sin omega t. It is a sinusoidal voltage with some definite amplitude and having some definite frequency. So V in is A sin omega t into this output is cos theta. Clear? Now this output is A sin omega t plus cos theta plus, now this stator winding is displaced from this stator winding by 120 degree. So this output is V in into cos theta plus 120, and this output is V in cos theta plus 240. See this particular figure. Okay. Clear? અહીંયા ત્રણ equation આપ્યા છે. Your E12 output, it is A sin omega t into cos theta. A sin omega t is your V in. This is your V input. V input is the input which you are giving from this side. And this is as per the position of rotor. If rotor is in line with this particular, see this is a reference thing. If it is aligned with this, then theta is 0. Now if theta is 0, cos theta is 1. Cos 0 means 1. Now cos theta plus 120. So it is 0 plus 120. So your output is minus 1 by 2. Again cos theta plus 240. So again it is 0 plus 240. So again it is minus 1 by 2. Now see this particular thing, what it says. That whenever the rotor is aligned in this particular direction, at that time cos theta, this particular factor is maximum. 1 છે એ સૌથી વધારે છે. આપણે આને V in લઈ લઈએ. આ V in છે. This is V in. This is cos theta. This is V in. This is cos theta plus 240. This is V in cos theta plus 240. એટલે ત્રણે ત્રણ જે આઉટપુટ આવે છે એની અંદર ડિફરન્સ શેનો છે? એ ખાલી થીટા પ્લસ, એટલે આ જે પર્ટિક્યુલર સેકન્ડ ફિગર છે એનો જ ડિફરન્સ છે, બાકી ફર્સ્ટ ફિગર તો એઝ ઇટ ઇઝ છે. સો એનો મતલબ શું છે? એ શું કહે છે કે જ્યારે થીટા 0 હોય, at that time this particular thing is 1, this particular thing is minus 1 by 2, and this particular thing is minus 1 by 2. એનો મતલબ શું છે કે જ્યારે થીટા 0 હોય ત્યારે મેક્સિમમ કંડક્શન થવાના લીધે E12 is maximum, while E13 and E23 they are lesser. આના કરતા ઓછો છે. Clear? Because rotor is aligned in this particular direction. That's why maximum linkage is possible between primary side and this secondary side. If rotor is aligned with the phase 2, then maximum conductance is possible between the primary side and this secondary side. If rotor is aligned with the phase 3, then maximum conductance is possible in that particular direction. એનો મતલબ શું કે જે સ્ટેટરની સાથે રોટર અલાઇન થયેલું હશે એનો રિલક્ટન્સ મિનિમમ હશે, અને રિલક્ટન્સ મિનિમમ હોય, રિલક્ટન્સ that is the opposition to the magnetic field. એટલે રિલક્ટન્સ જેનો મિનિમમ હોય એનું કંડક્ટન્સ મેક્સિમમ થાય. Clear? So with this particular phenomena, if you look at this figure, now here theta is 0. So આપણે સેમ જે કન્ફિગ્યુરેશન લીધી, so this is V, કારણ કે V means this your line voltage, so it is V. Here minus 1 by 2 into V, so it is minus 1 by 2 or minus V by 2. This is again minus V by 2. Okay. Now in this particular configuration, the stator windings are directly connected. આ stator winding આની સાથે, આ stator winding આની સાથે, આ stator winding આની સાથે connected છે. એનો મતલબ શું થશે કે now the same voltage will appear over here. આ V અહીંયા આવશે, આ V minus V by 2 અહીંયા appear થશે, આ minus V by 2 અહીંયા appear થશે. Okay. So what it says, whenever the angle of the rotor on the primary side, that is theta, if it is 0, then the angle on the receiver side has to be 0. આ પણ 0 હોવું જોઈએ. Now if it is non-zero, ધારો કે 0 ના બદલે 1 ડિગ્રી છે ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ, બરાબર, અથવા થોડું મૂવમેન્ટ થઈ ગયું એનું 1 અથવા 2 ડિગ્રીનું, તો શું થશે? Now what it says, that due to the motion of the rotor we are getting the stator voltage, then due to those stator voltage can we achieve the same rotor motion? આ બહુ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ છે. રોટરની જેટલી મોશન થવાથી સ્ટેટરના વોલ્ટેજ પ્રોડ્યુસ થયા, તો શું એ જ સ્ટેટરના વોલ્ટેજ આપવાથી એટલું રોટર રોટેટ થઈ શકશે? ઇઝ ઇટ પોસિબલ ઓર નોટ? અથવા આ ફિગર જોઈને કોઈ તમે કાંઈ કન્સ્ટ્રક્શન જોયેલું હોય એવું આઈડિયા આવે છે? આ કઈ રીતની લાગે છે ફિગર?
3-phase motor.
Yes, it is like a motor, but it is not actually like a motor. On one side you have a generator. આપણે એને કહીએ ને તો કોમ્બિનેશન આવું છે. On one side you have a generator, on another side you have a motor. હવે આ કન્સ્ટ્રક્શન ફરી વખત સમજવાની ટ્રાય કરો. એ શું કહે છે? જનરેટરમાં શું હોય? આ તમારું રોટર હોય, એના લીધે સ્ટેટરમાં વોલ્ટેજ પ્રોડ્યુસ થાય. રોટરને રોટેટ કરાવવાનું અને સ્ટેટરમાં વોલ્ટેજ પ્રોડ્યુસ થાય. મોટરમાં શું હોય? સ્ટેટરને એક્સાઇટેશન આપવાનું અને રોટરને તમારે રોટેટ કરવાનું. બરાબર, આ બંનેમાં થોડું અલગ છે. રોટરના રોટેશનથી સ્ટેટરના વોલ્ટેજ પ્રોડ્યુસ થાય અને સ્ટેટરના વોલ્ટેજથી રોટરનું રોટેશન પ્રોડ્યુસ થાય. તો જેટલા રોટેશનથી, જેટલા ડિગ્રીના રોટેશનથી જે વોલ્ટેજીસ પ્રોડ્યુસ થયા, શું એ જ વોલ્ટેજ આપણે સેકન્ડરી સાઇડ અથવા રિસીવર સાઇડમાં અપ્લાય કરીશું, then can we achieve the same rotation of the receiver rotor? Yes. Clear? So this is the same principle of synchro. And somehow if it is non-zero, એટલે theta 0 ના થાય, તો શું કરશે? આ રોટર એક્ઝેક્ટ પોઝિશનમાં આવશે નહીં. ત્યારે શું કરશે? these three voltages V minus V by 2 and minus V by 2 again tries to align this rotor in such a way that it becomes 0. ધારો કે 0 ના થયું હોય તો શું કરશે? આ ત્રણ જે સ્ટેટર વાઇન્ડિંગના વોલ્ટેજ છે એને પરાણે એ પર્ટિક્યુલર એંગલ સાથે અલાઇન કરવાની ટ્રાય કરશે. અનલેસ ઇટ બીકમ્સ 0, ઇટ કીપ્સ ઓન રોટેટિંગ ઇન ધીસ ફીડબેક લૂપ. આખું આ લૂપ જ ફીડબેક છે જ્યાં સુધી નહીં થાય, બીકોઝ ધ સેમ વોલ્ટેજ વિચ આર ધેર ઓન ધ પ્રાઇમરી સાઇડ, ધ સેમ વોલ્ટેજ અપિયર્સ ઓન ધી receiver side. The voltage which is there on the transmitter side, the same voltage appears on the receiver side. Now let's take an example where the theta is 30 degree. A second example, so now theta is 30 degree. Now when theta is 30 degree, at that time cos 30 is root 3 by 2. Cos 30 plus 120, that is cos 150 minus root 3 by 2. And cos 30 plus 240, that is cos 270 is 0. બરાબર, આવું થાય છે. It means due to the applied line voltage V and due to the rotation of the rotor, that is 30 degree, this particular voltage is root 3 by 2, this particular voltage is minus root 3 by 2, and this particular voltage becomes 0. Now the same voltage will also appear here. આ જે voltage છે અહીંયા આવશે root 3 by 2V, અહીંયા આવશે minus root 3 by 2V, અને અહીંયા આવશે 0. Now same voltage will appear on the receiver side, and these voltages will try to rotor in such a way that it will acquire the similar or the same angle by which rotor is moved on the transmitter side. બરાબર, ટ્રાન્સમીટર સાઇડમાં જેટલું રોટર મૂવ થયું છે એટલા જ એંગલથી રિસીવરમાં પણ રોટર મૂવ થશે. જો નહીં થાય તો શું કરશે? these three voltage keeps on, આ વોલ્ટેજ અને આ વોલ્ટેજની અંદર વેરિએશન આવશે. ક્લિયર? these two voltages are same. આ બંને વોલ્ટેજ સેમ હોવાના કારણે જ આ 30 ડિગ્રી રોટેશન આના જેટલું થાય છે, else it is not possible. Clear? So this is called synchro servo mechanism, in which servo system or servo mechanism in which the transmitter side rotor, if it moves by a certain definite angle, then the voltage which are produced on the transmitter side, the same voltage will appear on the receiver side, and these voltage tries to rotate the rotor by the same angle by which the transmitter rotor moves. Okay, so that is all about the inductive transducer. અત્યાર સુધી જેટલા ઇન્ડક્ટિવ ટ્રાન્સડ્યુસર હતા એ આપણે બધા ત્રણ મેઇન ટ્રાન્સડ્યુસર આપણે ભણ્યા. One is LVDT, second is RVDT, and third is synchro. Now we will start with the third and the last type of electrical transducer, which is called capacitive transducer. These transducer can sense a variety of things. Directly it can sense the motion, chemical composition, electric field, and indirectly it can sense the pressure, acceleration, fluid level, and fluid composition also. Directly means directly you can use capacitive transducer for these particular parameter. Indirectly means first you are converting that parameter into say some other parameter, and then you are converting that parameter into capacitance. So in case of capacitive transducer, we are going to use a parallel plate capacitor. So that is what we all know, two capacitive plates which are separated from each other by some dielectric constant or dielectric media. Clear? This is how the construction. Capacitive plate which is separated from each other by some dielectric media. Here there is a dielectric media. The distance between the two is given by x, distance between the two plate. The overlapping area is denoted by A, and the dielectric which we are using, the dielectric constant of that particular media is given by epsilon r. So for that parallel plate capacitor, the equation is given by C is equal to epsilon A by x, where C is the capacitance which is expressed in terms of farad. Epsilon is given by epsilon 0 epsilon r, where epsilon 0 is the absolute permittivity, and epsilon 0 is the absolute permittivity of air, and epsilon r is the absolute relative permittivity of the medium, which is expressed in terms of farad per meter. X is the distance between the two plates, which is expressed in terms of meter, and A is the overlapping area of the plate. You have to remember that area. Whenever I say the area means the overlapping area. Now this is called the area. The plates are overlapped on each other in this particular area only. So this is called A. Aj area, and this area is called overlapping area. Clear? So what this equation says, it says that somehow if you can find a mechanism where due to the change in displacement, if epsilon changes, then you can make a capacitive displacement transducer. આપણે resistive ની વાત કરી, inductive ની વાત કરી, દરેક વખતે આપણે એવું જ કીધું કે whenever you can find a mechanism where whenever your input parameter changes, that is the displacement, whenever your input parameter changes, and somehow if you can correlate that change with that particular mechanism. So in pneumatic, we are correlating with the flapper and nozzle. Somehow we are correlating that distance with the back pressure. In resistive, somehow we are correlating with the displacement and the resistance. In the magnetic, we are correlating with the displacement and the mutual induction. And in this, somehow we are correlating a displacement with the capacitor. Now we want to see how the capacitor can be varied or capacitance can be changed due to the change in displacement. So if you have a mechanism where if displacement changes, or if there is a displacement on the input side, and if that displacement changes epsilon, then your C will change. Second mechanism is somehow if you can change the A, that is the overlapping area, then you can change the value of capacitance. Third, somehow if you can manage to change the X due to the change in displacement, then also you can vary the value of capacitance. કોઈ પણ ત્રણમાંથી કોઈ પણ એક mechanism તમે change કરી શકો, then you can change the capacitance. So based on that, the variable capacitance type of displacement transducer falls in three different categories. First is a variation in distance x between the two plates. Second is variation in effective overlapping area, that is A between the two plate. And third is the relative permittivity or epsilon r. This is your epsilon r of the intervening medium between the two plates. So based on that, if you see the construction of three types, then they will look like this. Here what we are doing is, this is the distance between the two plate with x. So while you are concentrating on one particular parameter, other two parameters should remain constant. That is very, very important. બરાબર, એક પેરામીટર ઉપર તમે કોન્સન્ટ્રેટ કરતા હોય ત્યારે બીજા બંને પેરામીટર તમારા કોન્સ્ટન્ટ રહેવા જોઈએ. એટલે અહીંયા આપણે x ને વેરી કરીએ છીએ. We are varying x. So one of the plate is fixed. This is a fixed plate, and this plate is variable, which is moving in this particular direction. આ રીતે મૂવ થાય છે. So as and when the displacement of your system, you find the displacement of your system, the second plate moves with that, and which ultimately changes the value of x, and ultimately the capacitance C will change. This is the second mechanism in which here, due to the change in displacement, that is x, that is d or x, the overlapping area changes. Now here you can see whenever one of the plate is fixed and second plate is moving like this, this is the direction of movement. So as if the plate moves at this particular position, so new position might be this, નવી position જે આવશે એ આવશે. New position will be like this, આવી position આવશે. Clear? So now the overlapping area is કેટલો આવશે? Overlapping area is this much only. Clear? Overlapping area. This you have to remember, overlapping area. For example, example લઈએ તો આમાં overlapping area totally, both the plates are overlapped to each other. So this is called overlapping area A. Now in this case, this is the overlapping area. હવે plate થોડી વધારે આમ જશે, then again the overlapping area will reduce. So as if A changes, capacitance C will change. And this is the third mechanism in which both the plates are remains constant, overlapping area will also remain constant, but the dielectric media, this moves. Clear? This dielectric medium will move. The block itself moves. So as if the block moves, then ultimately the permittivity which exists between the two plates of the capacitor will also change. Clear? So there are three mechanisms by which you can make the capacitive displacement transducer. So let's see one by one. The first mechanism is change in x. So if you look at the equation, C is equal to epsilon A by x. Now what this equation says, that C is proportional to 1 by x. Provided epsilon and A both remains constant, C is proportional to 1 by x. It means C changes inversely with respect to x. Clear? So as x increases, C may fall. And if you plot the characteristic, then you will find a C versus x plot. It is a rectangular hyperbola. Clear? It is not a straight characteristic. It is not a linear characteristic. But instead of that, you will get a rectangular hyperbola kind of curve. Now for the same, if you find out the equation of sensitivity S, now we have seen that S is the sensitivity which is given by change in capacitance due to the change in your input parameter, that is your x. So if I'll do this, change in capacitance due to change in your input, that is x, then I can find sensitivity is given by dc by dx. So if I'll take d by dx of this epsilon A by x, then what I'll get is epsilon and A both are constant. So epsilon A into d by dx. Now 1 upon x, it means x raised to minus 1. Now what is the derivative of x raised to minus 1? Anyone?
Minus 1 by x square. Minus.
Okay. Yes, it's true. Minus x raised to minus 2. So it is minus 1 by x square. Okay. So if you solve this, you will find this particular equation. Epsilon a into minus 1 by x square. Now see the equation of sensitivity. If I'll do this, what I'll get is epsilon and a both are constant. So the equation of sensitivity is minus constant divided by x square. It means the sensitivity of this device is also not constant. કોઈ પણ ટ્રાન્સડ્યુસર હોય એ ટ્રાન્સડ્યુસરની આપણે અમુક શરૂઆતમાં જે ટ્રાન્સડ્યુસર ડિસ્કસ કર્યા ત્યારે આપણે લિમિટેશનમાં એવું બતાવતા કે સેન્સિટિવિટી ચેન્જીસ વિથ ટેમ્પરેચર. ક્લિયર? આપણે એવું કહેતા સેન્સિટિવિટી વેરીઝ વિથ ટેમ્પરેચર. So sensitivity should not vary. આપણે you must have studied all the characteristics. તમે બધું જોયું જશે, accuracy, precision, sensitivity, threshold, આ બધી. All these parameters are already prescribed and most of them should remain constant irrespective of your measurement. તમે ગમે તે measurement કરતા હોય, those parameters should remain constant. So in this case also, what you are expecting is your sensitivity should remain constant. But in this case, it is inversely proportional to x raised to 2. It means sensitivity is not a constant parameter. So this particular thing is inconvenient for certain measurement purpose. Because s reduces as you increase the value of x. So that's why you have to come out with some technique which are called linearization technique. Sensitivity says, or your characteristic also says that it is non-linear. So somehow you have to find a technique where your output should change linearly with respect to your input. Means the relationship between x and your output should remain linear. So for that, there are 4 different techniques which are adopted in case of capacitive transducer. First technique is, instead of measuring the value of capacitance, measure the percentage change in capacitance. Second technique is, use a circuit after the capacitance or use a circuit that is called charge amplifier. Third alternative is, instead of measuring capacitance, measure the impedance. And fourth technique is, instead of putting the capacitance in a single measurement or using a single capacitance, use a dual capacitance in such a way that they are in the differential arrangement. There are 4 arrangements by which linearization is possible. First is, instead of measuring the capacitance, measure the percentage change in capacitance. Second is using a charge amplifier. Third is using or measuring the impedance. And fourth is using a differential arrangement. Let's see one by one each. So first is by measuring the percentage change in capacitance. So we have seen this equation, dc by dx. આપણે equation જો capacitance is equal to epsilon a by x. આપણે જો. Okay. Now if I take the derivative with respect to x, તો આપણે જે last equation જોઈએ, dc by dx is equal to minus epsilon a by x square. આટલું આપણે લીધું. Now in this equation આપણે થોડું આ રીતે કરીએ કે minus epsilon a by x into x. x square છે ને બે ભાગમાં divide કરો, x into x. Then epsilon a by x. What does this mean? This means capacitance itself. આ equation છે, c is equal to epsilon a by x. It means dc by dx is equal to minus c by x. આટલું equation આવી ગયું. From this, dc by dx is equal to minus c by x. Take c here and take x over there. આ બેને interchange કરી દો, numerator અને આના denominator ને. If you interchange them, you will come out with this particular equation. Now what this equation says, dc by c. dc by c means a change in capacitance. dc by c means a change or the percentage change in the capacitance, and dx by x means percentage change in the displacement. Clear? Now here you can see both the equations are, there is a equal to sign. There is a equal to sign between two equation. It means instead of measuring capacitance, if you measure the percentage change in capacitance, then this particular thing is directly related. Clear? So this is the first technique, that instead of measuring capacitance, measure the percentage change. Second technique is use a charge amplifier. Now this is how the charge amplifier looks like. You must have heard about voltage amplifier, you must have heard about a power amplifier, but now this is another term which is called charge amplifier. Charge amplifier, as the name indicates, it amplifies the charge which is stored in the input capacitors. So this is called your input capacitor. So whatever charge is stored in the input capacitor, the same charge will be reflected on the output side. Now this is your transducer, capacitive displacement transducer. CX કરીને જે બતાવ્યું છે, this CX, this is your capacitive displacement transducer, while this is a fixed capacitor. Now in this case, there are certain equations, there are certain steps. If you follow that, you will come out with this particular equation. Will not go in that much detail, but we will directly see the relationship. E0 is given by minus C by Cx into Ei. This is the direct equation. C is the fixed capacitor and Cx is the variable capacitor or your transducer itself. This is a transducer itself, capacitive displacement transducer. Now if you put Cx is equal to epsilon A by X, then you will come out with this particular equation. What it says, E0 is equal to minus C Ei upon epsilon A into X. Provided this capacitor is fixed, excitation voltage Ei is fixed, epsilon and A, these two are the parameters of your transducer. And as if we are talking about the change in X, means we are talking about the change in distance between the two plates, it means epsilon and A is also constant. So all four parameters are constant. It means E0 output is directly proportional to X. This is another linearization technique. By using a charge amplifier, you are directly getting the output E0, which is directly proportional to the displacement X. Third alternative is use a technique where instead of measuring a capacitor, measure the impedance. Now in case of this capacitance, it is called Xc by Xc, capacitive reactance, or it is also called impedance. This capacitive reactance is given by 1 upon 2 pi Fc. Now if you put C is equal to epsilon A by X, epsilon is generally the combination of epsilon 0, that is the absolute permittivity, and epsilon R, that is the relative permittivity. So if you put everything in this equation, then what you will find is Xc for the given thing, if F, that is the frequency, which is also constant, epsilon R and epsilon 0, which is also constant, A, that is the overlapping area, that also remains constant. So in this case also, Xc is directly proportional to X. So in this case also, instead of measuring capacitance, measure the capacitive reactance or the impedance. Next arrangement is called differential arrangement. So this is how the arrangement looks like. This is a fixed plate called L. This is a fixed plate called N. And M is the variable plate. This is the variable plate. While these two are the fixed plate. Now, whenever your displacement changes or whenever you have some displacement on the input side, this particular plate will either move upside or it will move on the downside. બરાબર, આની જે movement થવાની છે એના લીધે you will get some output. Now in this case, these two capacitor, now this is one capacitor, this is another capacitor. Suppose if we say this is C1 and this is C2. Now both are connected in such a way that whenever this particular plate moves upward, then what happens, what this equation is, C is equal to epsilon A by X. What does it mean? If C moves, or if this plate M moves upward, then the value of C1 will increase કારણ કે x ઘટવાનું છે. And similarly at the same time the value of C2 will reduce. Clear? That's why this is known as a differential arrangement. Due to the movement of one plate, one of the capacitor will increase, while at the same time due to that particular movement the value of second capacitor will reduce. So this is called the differential arrangement of capacitor. Now in this case also, if you go through certain steps, you come out with this particular equation. This equation says that delta E, that is the voltage which you are getting, is the difference between ELM, that is the voltage which is produced due to this particular capacitor, and EMN, it is the voltage which is produced this particular capacitor. If you, as if I have already told that C1 and C2 are connected in such a way that if one of the capacitor will increase, then second will reduce. That's why ELM minus EMN. If you follow certain step, you come out with this particular equation, which is E by D into X. D is the distance between the two plates, and X is the movement, distance between the two fixed plate, and X means this particular distance. That this is called D. Distance between the two fixed plates are constant. E, that is the excitation voltage, that is also constant. So it means your output delta E only depends on value of X. It means delta E is proportional to X or directly proportional to X. So this is also an arrangement in which you are getting a direct relationship between your output and your change. Clear? These are the four arrangements through which you can achieve the linearization, and in this case linearization means there has to be a direct relationship between your output and your input quantity. Now this thing is very, very important as far as your capacitive transducer is concerned. Whenever you use a capacitive transducer in your application, always you have to consider a phenomena called fringing. આને કહેવાય fringing. Generally what you are expecting is, if you are having a capacitor and if you draw the electrostatic lines between the capacitor, then ideally they are like this. Ideally આવી હોય. They are straight lines. They are straight lines. But whenever the distance between the two plates, as a distance, whenever the distance between the two plates increases, at that time, instead of connecting, or in addition to the connection between the two plates, the end of the plate will also generate some linkage or some electrostatic field. બરાબર? આ બધી electrostatic, straight electrostatic line તો હશે જ, પણ જ્યારે બંને પ્લેટ વચ્ચેનું ડિસ્ટન્સ એક પર્ટિક્યુલર લેવલથી વધી જાય, at that time the end of the capacitor plate will also induces some electrostatic field. આવી રીતે connection થાય. આવી રીતે હોય, then from the end also like this. અહીંયા તો connection છે જ. Clear? So here also you can see these are the ends. So ends of the capacitance will also produces some electrostatic lines, which produces or which generally gives the extra value in the value of capacitance. So for example, if the distance between the two plates of the capacitor is less, at that time you will get an accurate value of C. But whenever the distance between the two plates increases considerably, after that the effect of fringing becomes significant. It means if this value is C, then you will get an extra value due to this two. So you can say that CX1 and CX2. So your overall value of capacitance will look like C plus CX plus CX2. It means it induces an error into your measurement. Fringing generally means, fringing નો મતલબ થાય આપણે એકદમ ગુજરાતીમાં કહીએ તો ઝાલર. ઝાલર હોય, ઝાલર ક્યાં હોય તો એ કોઈ પણ કપડું હોય એના છેડામાં હોય, બરાબર, એન્ડ ઉપર હોય. તમે પડદો હોય કે પછી દુપટ્ટો હોય તો એ દુપટ્ટામાં અથવા પડદામાં જે છેલ્લો ભાગ હોય, લાસ્ટ ભાગ, ત્યાં જ એ રીતે ઝાલર લટકાડેલી હોય. સો ઇટ ઇઝ અ એન્ડ ઇફેક્ટ, the effect which is produced by the end points of the capacitor. That's why it is called fringing. આને કહેવાય fringe lines, because it is produced by the end of the capacitor. બરાબર. So in order to solve this particular problem, the problem of fringing, they are using a guard ring. Clear? So this is the second mechanism where you are having a guard ring. This point B is called the guard ring. Now how they are adjusted, if you look at this here, what they did is, this is plate A, here the point B starts, અને બંને વચ્ચે થોડું ડિસ્ટન્સ રાખેલું છે. Here you can see they are not directly connected, but they are putting some distance between the 2 points. અહીંયા થોડું બંને વચ્ચે ડિસ્ટન્સ રાખેલું છે here. So what happens is, the effect which is produced by the end, now what they are doing is they are isolating the ends. એન્ડ ને જો તમે આઇસોલેટ કરી દો તો શું થશે કે જે એન્ડની ઇફેક્ટ જે આવવાની છે અથવા એન્ડ પોઈન્ટના લીધે જે ઇફેક્ટ આવવાની છે એ ઇફેક્ટ આવશે નહીં. સો they are isolating the end points of the plates in such a way that now the fringing is produced by the point B. અહીંયાથી આવવાની છે. But while we are measuring the capacitance, at that time we are only concentrating between the plate A and plate C. તો આની અંદર fringe produce થશે નહીં. Fringe કોની વચ્ચે produce થાય છે? Between the B and C. But generally the point A and B is isolated by means of the guard ring, so that fringe fields are produced between the B and C. It means there is no fringe between the A and C. Isolating the point A from the ends solves the problem of fringing flux. Now second mechanism, in which instead of changing the value of x, આ equation છે C is equal to epsilon A by x. હવે x ના આપણે ત્રણ રસ્તા જોઈ લીધા. x ને ચેન્જ કરવાથી આપણને શું મળે છે એ આપણે જોઈ લીધું. Now what we are doing is, now we are changing the value of A. So what we are going to do is change the value of A. So here you can see these are the two concentrating cylinder or two plates of the capacitor, which are having the diameter called D1 and D2. And by moving one of the plate with respect to other in this particular direction, what you are changing is the overlapping area. This is called A. So as and when your displacement changes, you will find movement of this particular plate, and this plate generally changes the overlapping area. The same principle is also applicable in case of the circular motion or a semicircular motion. So here also you can see one of the plate is fixed, while the second plate, this plate is rotating or a variable plate. So when this plate is in this particular position, see the amount of overlapping area. It is this much only. આટલો જ overlapping થશે. Suppose if it acquires the same position like this, then you will find the fully overlapping between the two plate. Suppose if you will find the position of the plate like this, then there is no overlapping. Clear? It means as and when your variable plate moves or rotates with respect to the fixed plate, you will find a change in the overlapping area between the two plates. It means your A changes, and as and when A changes, your value of C will change. Just a minute. Now in this equation, epsilon A by x, A is nothing but length into width. So it is L into W. Now in this case, if I want to find out the sensitivity, what I need to do is, earlier I am differentiating with respect to x because x was the variable parameter. Now in this case, what I am going to do is I am going to differentiate with respect to the L. L means the overlapping length. આ બહુ important છે, યાદ રાખજો. પહેલાની આપણે જ્યારે વાત કરી, at that time we are concentrating on distance between the two plate. And now when we are talking about the overlapping area, at that time we are concentrating on overlapping length. W remains constant, width remains constant. But what is changing? The change which you are getting is the change in overlapping length, that is L. So that's why I am differentiating this equation with respect to L. So dc by dl. So if I'll take the dc by dl, what I'll get is d by dl of c. Now here epsilon, w and x, as if in this parameter we are only concentrating on a, it means rest of the two parameter remains constant. એટલે epsilon and x આ બંને constant રહેશે. તો change શું થાય છે? only L. So it means epsilon w a constant રહેશે by x, and just you have to take the d by dl of L. And if you take the differentiate the derivative of L, it means only it is a 1. So in this case, if you take dc by dl, you will get epsilon w by x. Now all these three parameters are constant. It means sensitivity in this particular case remains constant, and c is also directly proportional to a. આપણે equation જોયું, c is equal to epsilon a by x. So c is directly proportional to a, and sensitivity of in this case will remain constant. It means the c versus L plot is a straight line. So what you are expecting is something like this. It means in this arrangement you are already getting a linear relationship between your input and output. That's why there is no requirement of putting a separate linearization network or a set of separate linearization circuit. Now third thing, well, again, if we write the equations epsilon a by x, so again now we have earlier seen change in x, we have earlier seen, after that we have seen change in a, now we will see change in epsilon. So this is how the construction of this particular mechanism looks like. Now both the plates are fixed. Overlapping area or the distance between the two plates are remains constant, that is d constant. The overlapping area, that is also constant. So what is changing in this case is your dielectric block. This is your dielectric block or a dielectric media. Clear? So in this case, what is changing is epsilon r. This particular thing is called epsilon 0. હવે આખી આ plate છે, you can see the entire plate. The plates are surrounded by, say, in this particular area it has a dielectric medium which has a permittivity of epsilon r. અને આટલો જે part છે એની અંદર એ dielectric media નથી. એનો મતલબ શું છે કે આટલા part ની અંદર શું છે? air. In this particular portion it is only air. It means while you are concentrating on this area, the permittivity is called epsilon, which is a combination of epsilon 0 and epsilon r. And while you are concentrating on this blank area where there is no presence or where there is an absence of this dielectric media, at that time epsilon is nothing but just epsilon 0. આ important છે, આ યાદ રાખવાનું. બરાબર? When in this particular region where you are finding a presence of the dielectric media, your permittivity is the combination of epsilon 0 and epsilon r. And when you will not find the presence of your dielectric media, it means there is only an air. Clear? જ્યાં કાંઈ નથી ત્યાં શું છે? તો ત્યાં air છે. So it is epsilon is given by epsilon r. So if you look at this particular figure, what you will find is this particular arrangement is made up of two capacitors. આપણે આને divide કરીએ આ રીતે, like this. You can see that it is a combination of two capacitors, C1 and C2. Now what is C1? So suppose if I'll write C1 over here. What is C1? C1 is same epsilon A by x. X ની જગ્યાએ આપણે d લખ્યું છે, so epsilon A by d. Epsilon is nothing but epsilon 0 epsilon r, and A is the combination of width into length upon d. Clear? So this is the first term. આ term સમજો. C1 is this where you are finding the presence of dielectric media. અહીંયા dielectric media આટલામાં છે, એટલા માટે epsilon is the combination of epsilon 0 and epsilon r. While C2, just take a look at C2. What is C2? If you look at this capacitor C2, it has no dielectric media. અહીંયા dielectric media નથી. It means only epsilon 0. Now, if you want to find out the overlapping area, it is a combination of W into L. Now, what is L? Suppose the entire length of the plate is L, and the length of the capacitor C1 is small l. It means આ length કેટલી થાય? This length is just capital L minus small l થશે. આખી length જેટલી છે એમાંથી આ length આપણે subtract કરી દઈએ તો આપણને જે length મળે that is your L minus L. So epsilon 0 into W, capital L minus small l divided by the distance between the two plates. So that is your C2. C1 plus C2. C1 is this capacitor which has a presence of dielectric medium epsilon r, and C2 is the capacitor where there is no dielectric medium. It means air only. That's why it is epsilon 0 only. So C is a combination of two things, that is C1 and C2. Now suppose due to the displacement, if you are getting a moment of x, આપણે 2 મિનિટમાં ડિસ્કસ કરી લઈએ, એટલે 1 વાગી ગયો છે પણ ટાઈમ પતે પહેલા જોઈ લઈએ. Suppose due to the movement, or suppose due to the displacement, if you are getting a movement x, હવે જો movement x આવે તો C1 અને C2 માં શું ચેન્જ આવશે? Now C1 becomes this, C1 અહીંયા થઈ ગયું અને C2 કેટલું થઈ ગયું? આટલું. C2 નાનું થઈ ગયું. પહેલા C1 અને C2 આપણે અહીંયાથી ડિવાઈડ કર્યા હતા. હવે આ બ્લોક એક નવી પોઝિશન ઉપર આવી ગયું. Now the block comes at this particular position. So C1 and C2 acquires a new value. શું આવશે? So due to this change x, the value of C changes by an amount called delta C. C ની વેલ્યુની અંદર થોડો ચેન્જ આવશે. કેટલો ચેન્જ આવશે? The change you are expecting is a delta C. So that change generally given by હવે C1 and C2 કેટલા થશે? Let's see that. Now C1, earlier C1 was epsilon 0 epsilon r W L by D હતું. હવે એ L ની સાથે this x is added. Overall length is increased by L plus x. So see this equation. આની સાથે જુઓ. Look at this and take a look at this. It is epsilon 0 epsilon r W by D. Now earlier length was L. જ્યારે C ને આપણે અહીંયા consider કર્યું હતું. Now the length is increased by L plus x. So it is L plus x. Now C2, if you take a look at C2, earlier C2 was epsilon 0 W by D into L minus L. Now here also epsilon 0 W by D, but હવે length કેટલી થશે? L minus L plus x, or simply you can write L minus x. Clear? આટલી length છે, આ length જોવાની છે. આ length કેટલી થશે? This length is total length કેટલી છે? L minus આ જે length કેટલી છે? It is L plus x. આટલી length થઈ. So if I write the same here, what I am getting is W into L minus x upon D. So this is the change which you are getting due to the moment x. And if you simplify this equation, you come out with this particular equation which says that delta C is directly proportional to x. Provided epsilon 0, that is your dielectric constant, which remains constant, W remains constant, D remains constant, and this particular parameter remains constant, your delta C can be related directly with the x. Okay, so that is all about the capacitive transducer. Before we end this meeting, again, તમે તમારા નંબર જે છે એ ચેટ બોક્સમાં મૂકી દેજો.